Okay. Rolling.
How do we do this? Like I've
We had a 2-hour production meeting.
3. I think it was longer.
3 hours.
wow. And look, starting is still not a strong point. It's still not a strong point, is it?
Put it on the agenda for next meeting. Starting.
Oh God. Speaking of agendas, well, there's lots to cover. Okay, so first of all, hello everybody. We're excited to be back in 2022.
I think out of all excitement levels this is the 4th season, this is our highest level of excitement.
For
Definitely.
us.
For us, you mean.
For us. Yeah, I'm not saying for them. For us.
Just my vibe says that you guys listening have never been more excited than you are right now. Just a hunch. Just a little hunch I've got.
No, for us individual, the 3 of us, we're very excited.
Here we are. And why?
Well, we are.
Normal reasons, because we love the show and we love sitting around a table together and talking about what we talk about.
Without dissing our previous episodes, we're doing our previous seasons. We're doing it properly this season.
What is properly?
Well, we're actually professional now. As professional,
yeah.
I mean, we've got a team. We've got Bridget.
Yeah, yep. We've got Bridget, we've got George, we've got Andy.
Yeah,
and probably more to be announced.
Yeah,
maybe.
So Bridget's our producer. We've got a producer which we've never had before. If you don't have actually.
Go on, no, finish the sentence. If you don't, I think you're going to say.
Guys, you don't have a producer, you should get.
God. Yeah, guys, seriously, whatever you do, get a producer. You got to get a producer in your normal life, because someone to just like write an agenda for the day for you that you can talk about in a meeting. Yeah, Bridget, we love Bridget, and we're so happy to have her part of the team.
So we had a production. I've never had one of those before. We had a production meeting this morning.
Yeah.
And it was 3 hours talking about stuff that we could do for the show. And
you've done meetings before, though.
I've had meetings, but never for the podcast. Like we just turn the microphone and go, okay, so.
Yeah.
And it's gone okay. But now we have Bridget who just does everything. And she sent through an agenda yesterday. It was just, everyone knows what an agenda is. Yeah. But it was just for our meeting.
Now that I think about it, are we at risk of being too professional? Like, are we at risk of going off brand?
Well, to counter that, here's the counterbalance for this episode.
Okay.
There is air conditioning being installed in the studio that we're at.
Yeah.
And it was quite loud before as we're getting ready. And I went and spoke to the guy and said, look, we're just recording an episode of our podcast here. So
did you is this the tone of voice that you used?
No, it was a much more high pitch.
Oh, okay. I would have been a lot more like, g'day, mate.
It was no, sorry, I did.
You would have been a bit blokier. Yeah.
I tried to be a bit blokier, yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Which doesn't work with being more high pitch, but.
G'day, mate. How's it here?
I said, we're doing an episode of our podcast. Is it possible maybe if you could, are there any loud noises coming up? And he said, it's a big one in about half an hour, a real big one.
Just to be clear, we're not excited about the big noises. No. We want less of them.
Yeah. But so just the counterbalance to us being more professional is that at any minute, in 20 minutes to half an hour, maybe a bit closer than that, there's going to be a loud, I don't know what it is, but I've been told it's going to be big.
Wow.
Should we just talk through it or I don't know?
I think we just talk through it. And I think you're right, Hugh. I think it counterbalances any sort of added professionalism that we're bringing, because we just want to assure everyone that, yes, we're more professional this year purely because of the people we've brought on. Not because the 3 of us have really changed that much, purely because of them. But just so you're aware and so you're comfortable, there will still be a lot of stuff ups. So that's okay because
so many
because we're still here and we are.
Because we're imperfect. We're human beings and we're imperfect.
We're imperfect, and I will still mumble my way through opinions for the rest of the year. So you can look forward to that.
You guarantee Josh will still be asking good questions, that's for sure.
That's true. Josh, have you got any, we've only just started, but have you already got any questions? I hate to put you on the spot. But
nothing deep. Right. I guess only I guess up until now have people assumed I'm kind of the producer, or is it co-producer?
Oh, good point.
So people might be like,
okay, no, okay, all good. No, we've absolutely hit Josh in a place that is
a little bit of a raw nerve.
Yeah, that's a raw nerve. Okay, no, you're right, Josh.
Wondering what I do from now on.
Well, you are a co-host now, so
that's very exciting.
As people who've been following the podcast from the start will know that Josh started as the producer of the show, since over time proved that out of the three of us, he actually needed a microphone the most out of all three of us. So he now has one.
And also having a full-time job, it was impossible for you to do all the producing as well. So,
well, yeah, I don't know about impossible. I think maybe it just wasn't my skill set after all, producing. Seeing Bridget in action, I realise I'm not cut out for that work.
Well, all things lead to good things.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's probably our first T-shirt idea for merch for this year.
Or if we wanted to get a promo out to promote the show, like I think all things lead to good things is, I think, a pretty good message for the Imperfects to be sending out.
So we have a team. Bridget, George is going to do social media, and we're going to talk about social media a bit later. But we're going to have our own social media channel so people can. We'll get into that in a second. We have Andy, who's going to do all the videos and video content and all the tech stuff. Josh still has a really impressive box in front of him that does the Rodecaster Pro, so he is still doing technical stuff. Yeah. But what I'm really excited about is we actually have a format that we will stick to for this year. It's going to be, I think last year we tried to. It was about 24 episodes, I think, in the end last year. This year we're committing here and now to 35. So we're going to do.
Hugh. Are we
saying the number?
So we're doing, well, people won't count. We're doing,
well, you can guarantee they will now.
So we're releasing an episode a week. And we will have 4 different formats. We have a new format to talk about in a second.
Wow.
But we'll be rotating through those 4. And we might even throw in the odd bonus episode as well.
It's a big
I didn't need to say that bit. I shouldn't have said that bit.
But there probably will be. I mean, I don't want to get too excited and get too ahead of ourselves, but our 50th is coming up.
Yes.
At some point. I'm not sure exactly when that is, but
Bridget's busily making a banner for us at the moment.
Oh, yeah, that was a great suggestion. A banner to run through. Yeah. God, how indulgent. The 3 of us.
Run through a banner to no crowd.
Yeah, a lot of effort for not much.
Yeah, I might just duck under it just so I don't do an injury before the big match.
So the format, should we tell them about the format maybe, what we're looking to do? So the first one will be our OG original format, which is actually OF really.
Our OF format.
We'll get a well-known, interesting person on who, from the outside, we look at their life and we think, gosh, imagine being that person. Their life would just be incredible. And we chat to them and they tell us what their life's really like. That the genesis of that idea came from when Ryan and I were having coffee before. We were just getting to know each other, and I was thinking, gosh, imagine being Ryan Shelton. Life must be perfect. And you shared some things about your life that weren't completely perfect. And I thought,
you're shocked. You're shocked, aren't you? Yeah. God, look at this guy. He's got it all. Look at his body. He's got all that and still not perfect.
That was the main one, actually, body. That was
I bet.
So, that's the original one. The second one in the roster will be the Academy of Imperfection, where we get a guest lecturer.
An expert.
An expert will make our lives better because they know stuff that we should all know.
Stuff about something.
That we should all know about.
We'll work on the intro.
The third one will be Vulnerability House.
Yep.
I think most people know how that works.
Yep. Well, I don't know if most people do know how that works, actually.
True.
I mean, if you explain the other ones, you may as well explain.
Someone, true, yeah. Someone, I don't know why I assumed that was the one.
And I don't need to tell you about the Vulnerability House, the world-renowned Vulnerability House.
In fact, it's the one that most needs a description.
Description, exactly. It's the most confusing name. Yeah. Good pun, though.
Great pun.
Yeah.
Good pun.
Yeah, I always forget who came up with that pun. Anyway, probably not worth pointing the person out individually, is it?
No, probably not. I think
actually not. Oh no, it'd be interesting. I guess people are now wondering.
It's safe to assume that most puns
move on
will come from you. I think.
Oh, okay. We'll see. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
So, the Vulnerability House will be, it's basically someone, it's often one of the 3 of us, but it can be a special guest will come in and I'll draw a card.
3 cards?
Or 3 cards from a deck. And on them are questions which will require them to be quite vulnerable in order to answer them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they feel comfortable, they answer the question.
Yep. Why is vulnerability good though, Hugh?
Vulnerability.
It's the sort of question that Josh should ask. Yeah. I got to it first.
You do puns. He does good questions.
Yeah. Josh is good at good. He's got good questions. I've got more like obvious questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So vulnerability, and I've thought about this a lot over the summer holidays because at times it was anyone with kids will know this. You kind of look forward to your holidays, and then when you're on your holidays, you realize that like holidays, it's just the same thing, just in a different location.
Yeah.
It's just like maybe better weather, but the same problems are all the same issues. In fact, it's more intense because you see your kids the whole time. And I found myself, and I was with the in-laws with us as well for most of the holidays. So we had someone with us all the time. So I was thinking, like, the more open I am about how I'm feeling right now, the more we'll connect over this stuff. So the more vulnerable you are, the more you open up, the more it leads to authentic connection.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I think what I've learned, and just from conversations we've had, we feel like people know what vulnerability looks like a lot of the time. A lot of the time we're modeling how to be there when someone's being vulnerable, to listen to them, all that kind of stuff, non-judgmentally. And it's okay for blokes to say, hey, this is what's happening. Yeah. And so that's kind of the idea behind the vulnerability house.
Yeah. And it's sort of a pretty central theme to what we do, what the podcast is.
Yeah. I think if you're going to embrace your imperfections, there's a level of vulnerability to that. Like to put your hand up and say, no, I'm not good at this. I don't understand this. I need to get better at that. That it takes vulnerability because we want to make it look like we've got all the answers all the time. We're on top of everything, but we're not. We're so far from it. So that's kind of where that idea comes from. So, and the pun comes from you.
Okay.
But
I totally forgot.
But
Totally forgot that.
But our new format, which have you got some kind of sound effect that could work? I don't think you'll have a drum roll.
No, there is one.
There is. It's going to take me a moment.
But no, you just have to guess.
Guess.
Just guess it and play whatever comes up.
Are you saying? It kind of works, but
sort of.
There's only a rim. There's a rim shot. There's no.
There's no drum roll. Okay.
There's applause. I can applaud once you say it.
Okay.
Seems appropriate.
Okay. I'll point to you when I'm ready for the applause because I think I'm going to go for a while here.
Okay.
So the new format involves
a new type of episode.
A new type of episode, which we'll be having once a month. Is going to be. It's with a psychologist called Emily, or M,
or E, depending on how close you are with her. Yep.
I've never called her E.
Get to know a bit better.
We'll call her M.
Yep.
Actually, do the applause now.
Yeah.
Actually,
why not? Absolutely.
Em's a psychologist, and we felt like I chat to Em a lot, and she loves the podcast, and she often says to me things like, as a psychologist, I was just thinking it'd be great for people to know this, what you talked about before. And the amount of times we kind of talked about that, I was like, gosh, we should really hear more from Em. Em would be great. And then last year, about probably halfway through last year, we actually decided to send all our episodes to Em before we released an episode, just to get her kind of Em's tick of approval that from a psychologist point of view, first of all, this won't do harm to anyone.
Yep.
But also that it won't be triggering to anyone, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
even though I was listening to all of them and giving my tick of approval, we thought on top of that, just to be safe, just be super safe, let's get an actual doctor to listen to it.
So now we've got you and Dr. M.
Wow.
Going through and she did it for the second half of last season, which also is probably a good thing to tell people to know that like we do take this stuff really seriously, and the last thing we'd ever want to do is to.
Well, we have done for the past 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months out of it wasn't serious before. Yeah, the last 6 months,
2.5 seasons. Absolute.
Just a couple of cowboys. Yeah.
And so anyway, in having conversations with them about the episodes and sending them to her saying, really, I found that really interesting. We just thought, wouldn't it be great to actually have him to come on and actually pick out parts of certain episodes and say, from a psychologist's point of view, this would be a really good thing to talk to for everyone to learn more about. So we've got her coming on. Now, you've both actually come up with really, really great names for her episode.
Well, I don't know if I'm necessarily happy with my one.
Really?
Nah.
It's good.
Well, it's...
Why don't you both share your idea for what we could call?
Josh, I'm actually struggling to remember what yours was.
I can't remember mine either.
I can't believe you've come up with something I couldn't have forgotten. You said it should be the Academy of Imperfection.
Oh, that's right.
That is actually quite good.
It's very good, but potentially confusing.
Because
from a branding point of view,
if anyone mispronounces any of them, it just gets very
it's too confusing.
Okay, well done. That's settled. Ryan, we'll go with your idea.
No, I think we can temporarily.
Funny he wasn't into my idea.
No, I like it. I love the pun, but it will be confusing.
Yeah, very confusing.
But I don't like mine either. I think we can do better.
Okay, well let's start with this.
Currently, we're calling them episodes or because she did do the work, Dr. Episodes. I think that's fair.
I think it's great. I really like them. I like both of them, but episodes it's an episode. We're doing an episode.
It just doesn't really explain what it's about.
It does in my head.
It just because you know. Because you know what it is. But what about someone who's coming to the podcast cold, never heard it before? There are still some people in the country who haven't heard the podcast. So if they're coming to it cold and they're like, oh, Dr. Episodes.
We might need to record some kind of an opener that we do at the start of every single episode.
Of course.
Where people will just go, it's an episode.
Oh, why would one get into podcasting if one wasn't creating fun openers for the episodes? And one will create an opener. One will.
So there's a lot to look forward to there. I can't wait to learn off them because whenever I talk to her, we had a conversation last week about something else that I was dealing with, and it was just amazing the stuff she taught me through. So I can't wait to share her knowledge with everyone.
But
I also
huge.
Can't wait to hear your opener that you come up with.
Yeah, I think the thing to look forward to is probably the advice that Dr. M will give, because that I am genuinely so excited to have her on and to hear what she has to say. Like as we all are, I'm just obsessed with psychologists giving advice or anyone with any knowledge. Like I love the academies, I love all the episodes, but when people come in and give like proper doctorly or expert advice on something, I'm a sucker for it. I love it. And Em is brilliant. We're lucky to have her.
So guys, listeners, we've got a psychologist for you.
Yep.
We're all going to be seeing a psychologist this year, once a month.
Exactly.
I mean, you're not going to be able to air your specific issue.
No,
that's not how it works.
The three of us can't actually bring our problems in, can we? She's not actually our psychologist.
No, well, she can't be. She's very professional and has made it very clear that
well,
that doesn't.
Hope she's not too professional, because my idea for the opener, she may not. It may not. Hope she's got an open mind to an opener. Anyway, now, okay, so we try not to make this episode too long, but look, that's never stopped us before.
No.
So thank you for coming back this year. Thanks for returning, giving us another go, or if you're new to the show, you've found it over summer or something like that. So we very much appreciate you being a part of this. We love doing what we do. The one thing we've been doing this for 3 years. The one thing we've never had is official social media, or socials, as we call in the industry. And we're doing it this year. We are doing social media, which
much
is
to our chagrin. Would I say that?
I don't think
maybe not
we
quite
know
right,
what chagrin means.
It's much to your, like, not disappointment,
Delight?
but like,
no,
chagrin.
it's the opposite.
Like, it's the opposite. Right?
Well, I think it's
Distaste?
exciting. Yeah. I mean, it's good because
we had a meeting about it. We had another meeting about that specifically this morning.
yeah, and over summer, I had a kind of a weird reluctance to starting an Imperfect social media channel, like on Instagram or TikTok. But the reason we're doing it is we think that the stories that people are coming on here and telling, and the advice that people like Em give, and the advice that you give, Hugh, it's helpful, and we want as many people to hear it as possible. So we can't deny the fact that if we put some of these little clips and things on social media, we will attract more people to the podcast and to be able to hear the vulnerability that's being shared with you and with everyone. And with us. So that's why we're doing it. But just know that we are aware of the slightly weird conflict that may be present. Is that a fair thing to say?
I think so. I've found it really hard to know with social media because it is such a huge problem.
I went 3 weeks without looking at Instagram over summer.
Yeah.
And it was sensational.
Yeah.
I just loved it.
Yeah, I went, it sounds like I'm trying to one-up you here. I went 3 weeks without my phone.
Yeah, I went, what did I go? I went 3.5 weeks. I went 3.5 weeks without my phone. Yeah. I went, I reckon I didn't look at Instagram until like 2007. I went most of my life without it, actually.
It was so much better. I just loved it.
I loved it a bit more.
And so what we're going to try and do with our content is make sure it's never about just trying to get likes or just trying to get people to follow us. It's going to be what we put up will be the content we put up is either going to be about trying to help more people discover the conversations that we're having, be they really serious or more lighthearted, but we just want to try and spread the message, I guess, of the podcast further. And it's almost like a ridiculous marketing tool, free marketing tool not to use. We're just going to try and be really responsible with it, I think is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, and I'm not going to check it regularly. I don't care. I don't care how many views things get. I don't care how many followers we got. I don't care. That stuff doesn't interest me. You know? Like I'm above it. I don't care. So not to worry about me. Don't worry about checking in on me. I'll be fine.
So we're still trying to work out what our name is because the Imperfects is taken by someone who hasn't posted since 2013. So George is in charge of our socials. I just met George today. I really like George a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Isn't he great?
He's terrific.
Yeah. So I met George a few years ago from it. He was working on another podcast called The Daily Talk Show, which was around for years and did lots and lots of episodes, and it was great. And now George has a full-time job. So he's coming on board to help us out with social media as like a part-time extracurricular, but he's the best.
Okay.
You guys are going to love George.
Right. You've brought a lot of good people to our podcast.
Well, couple.
2. Yep.
Is there anything else we need to talk about before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. Any highlights from your summer holidays that?
Well, I mean, at some point, I do want to talk about my mobile phone experience of like getting rid of it, using a dumb phone. I have been experimenting.
You whipped it out
with
this morning, and it's
cool, isn't it?
It's really good.
So yeah, so I wouldn't mind talking about that at some point. That's probably not for now, but yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little a weird tease.
Josh and I, in the last episode we did last year, Josh and I announced something, but then it didn't really quite work with the episode. It was such a full-on episode with Georgia.
Yes, of course.
Thanks for all the amazing messages as well, by the way, with the Georgia episode. It was
we need to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean that's the most messages I've got. People saying that some really full-on stuff. People saying stuff that happened to them when they're a kid, and they're going to tell people the first time and seek help for it. And it was because Georgia was so articulate and so she's just so intelligent and brave and everything. So just amazing from Georgia. And Georgia came back to Australia last week. There's the noise. There's the big noise.
Jeez, that is a big noise.
Yeah,
they were right.
Timing not great, but we did promise the big noise is coming.
And they were only a minute off in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Geez, they're running on time.
Prediction. Yeah.
Impressive.
So they know how to install air conditioning to the minute. What you do. Georgia flew back from LA last week, and just being around her feels, it just feels different.
She's here.
Yeah,
she's in town.
Here.
Oh,
she's
cool.
in town, and I've always felt a bit of a slightly awkward thing with us. Not in a bad way, but it's just always been it's not there, and it's
brilliant.
And I put it down to the fact that we shared what we shared together. So great.
That's amazing. Yeah. I have a feeling that Dr. M, in maybe even in the first episode she does, I think she will want to talk about and give advice based on that episode with Georgia.
Yeah, beautiful feedback from Em on that. But something else Josh and I announced in the last episode, we cut it because we're like, it doesn't quite work. I think we should do a sound effect. I feel like there could be another sound effect.
Oh, what for this announcement?
For this announcement, yeah.
What do you want, an applause? Which one haven't you pressed
like
yet?
Uproarious, like
there's
not laughter.
Maybe this. The other one's definitely there's like laughter and sad trombone,
which are not going to work. Sad trombone.
I'll be on here what sad trombone is.
Well, that's certainly not appropriate for this.
For the news.
Let's just announce the news.
I've got one that might be nice.
Okay, you go.
Do I want to say both our news, or do we take it in turns? Or like we're building.
Try and say it at the same time, and while looking at each other, and try and say the same words at the same time.
Okay.
We're having a baby.
That was beautiful. Not together, like obviously. You are
with our respective partners.
Brothers are adopting.
But again, eerily similar timing. I think it's like a week away, just like
just like last time.
And your first video.
Yeah. So July babies.
July babies. Yeah. The Imperfects.
Awesome. Congratulations, officially on air.
Thank you. It's very exciting.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah.
It'd be really scary as well, but yes.
Yeah.
Sad trombone.
Considering I'm not coping with 2.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Maybe it's exactly the missing piece that you're looking for to kind of like maybe this is everything you've been hoping for. You just don't know it yet.
You're resilience projecting me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we are just honestly so excited to be back. We love doing this. We've put aside a whole day a week where we're having meetings with agendas.
Yeah. Hear that, guys?
That's
a whole day. A whole day. A whole day. A week.
Actually makes it sound
looks like someone's got a job.
So pathetic.
Someone's taking things really seriously.
Oh dear.
Okay, yeah, no. Weekly episodes, new Dr. M format this year. It's new team members. It's all happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is really the culmination of what we spoke about, like about a year or maybe 2 years ago when we started having ads, and we always knew that the reason we wanted to have ads to bring some money, sell the vulnerability bags, was so that we could do more of this, and that is now paying off. We are able to hire people and do more. So it's exciting.
And that's because you guys listen, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to sing us out here?
No. Out of everyone sitting here, I'm the last person who should be singing us out.
Yeah. I can't think of any good royalty-free songs to sing.
What about this?
Oh. What do we got? Oh, beautiful.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Just, yeah.